how could I have been so harsh on myself and my hair and how huge of an impact my hair had on my own identity.
That I don't have to wear all the makeup. If my skin looks good and my hair looks good, then like, I'm good.
Right. Hey guys, welcome to an all new episode of HBFIT TV. I'm here with Nancy Twine, who is the founder of Briogeo, which if you don't know, it's an amazing natural hair care line that is sold in Sephora, and so many people on the internet use it all the time. I'm a fan. I used it when it first came out, and I was really excited to chat with Nancy today because if there's one thing I love, it's putting on female founders, but specifically women of color.
Yes.
And so I want to know, like, from the beginning, like, what was your experience with beauty as a young girl? What inspired you to kind of move into the beauty world now as an adult?
So actually I went to school in Virginia. I grew up in Long Island, and right after school, I took a job in finance. I was working at Goldman Sachs for 7 years, big corporate bank. And it was 2007, so it was the start of the financial crisis, and like all of my friends were losing their jobs, and I was just happy to have a job and, you know, money to pay off my student loans. But I knew the whole time, like, it was definitely like a means to an end. Like, I wasn't passionate about what I was doing, and actually, like, I was jealous of some of my friends that were. Like, they were so into it, and I'm like, why do I not have that? Like, I didn't. And then in 2010, unfortunately, I lost my mom really suddenly and tragically in a car incident.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
Yeah, and it just really changed my perspective on life and, you know, what we're supposed to be doing here. Like, what are we called to do? And I knew that, like, fundamentally, I think part of our path in life is figuring out what our passion is, how we can impact the world with our talent and our skill. And I wanted to really connect to that. And I was doing all this soul searching. And actually, at the time, my mom was in the process of starting her own skincare line.
Oh, wow.
And it's really interesting. So she was one of 8 children. She grew up on a small farm in West Virginia.
Oh, wow.
A single parent household. And my grandmother didn't have a lot of money or resources. So she was always just looking for ways to do things more cost effectively. And she would harvest her own plants and fruits and turn them into these like homemade extracts that then became like the foundation for these really basic personal care products for the family.
That's incredible. So your grandmother was like a herbal chemist.
Exactly.
It's insane.
Totally. And so when I was growing up, my mom was a chemist and a doctor. And when I was growing up, we had access to so much more because we lived in Long Island. There was a health food store. And we were mixing up just all of our own natural beauty products, hair treatments, body scrubs, everything. And I loved it as a kid. And I feel like just even as a teen, like, I was making my own stuff. Like, I saw firsthand that you could take oils and sugars and waxes and actually turn them into like high functioning beauty products.
Absolutely.
So on that soul searching journey, I really reconnected with that. And it was a little discouraging though, because I'm like, you know, we were making this stuff at home, and I'm like, can I actually turn this into a business?
Right.
Because if I'm going to leave this high paying job, like, I need to actually make money doing this.
Right.
So because it was such a big thing for me to decide to do, I was like, I need to put together a business plan and see, like, how can I make money doing this? And I'm a little bit of a nerd, and one of my friends was like, oh, you should go to the Small Business Library on 34th and Madison. Like, they have all these different research databases. And
I didn't even know there was a small business library.
Yeah.
That's
and it's
awesome.
Amazing, because those research reports cost thousands of dollars, and you
they're
can get
just
them for free. Yeah, with a library card. So I was doing all this research, and one of the things that I kept reading over and over again in these natural personal care like market reports was that most of the brands that were playing in the space were mass brands. So you could find them at like Whole Foods or the health food store. So not many prestige brands. And then sections for like body care and skin care were really big. And there was always like this little paragraph at the end of the reports dedicated to hair care. So those were like the 2 big observations that I saw, is that no one was really doing natural at the time in prestige or in hair care. So I'm like, all right, if I'm gonna quit my job to do this, like I want to be able to like really own a category. So long story short, I mean, I just spent my nights and weekends, I was researching, I found a chemist who helped me develop my first 4 products. And it was so therapeutic for me because I would come home from work and just like pour myself into this dream. It was like my light at the end of the tunnel.
It's amazing.
And I spent about 3 years doing that. And before I knew it, I had my first 4 products. And I took some time off from work and I went to a trade show in Las Vegas. And that's where I met all these buyers, including Sephora. And 6 months later, I got this email that just like changed my life. And Sephora said, we're finally looking to expand our hair care assortment. And we ended up being the first brand to launch in hair care at Sephora since Dry Bar.
Wow.
Yeah. And I think that they were really interested in Briogeo because they didn't have another brand that was focused on different hair texture types and had the clean aspect as well. So it was like this really, it was like this, almost like, oh, it was a triple threat because we were focused on clean ingredients, hair care for all, diversity was at the center of what we do, and then sustainability through our packaging. And the week after I got that email, I quit my job after 7 years. I was like a vice president at Goldman Sachs. People thought I was crazy.
Oh my God.
Like, what are you doing to start hair care? And people thought it was weird that I was doing hair care. And so, yeah, we just had our 5-year anniversary. And I will say, like, at the beginning, it was tough. Like, I think hair care has finally gotten to a place where, especially within prestige, like, people are focusing on it.
Yeah.
There's been, like, a big evolution in beauty where I think skincare and hair care is starting to take market share away from makeup.
Totally.
I think people are really focused on how can I enhance my natural beauty, and if I could do that, I don't have to wear all the makeup. If my skin looks good and my hair looks good, then like I'm good.
Right.
So
Couldn't agree more with
yeah,
that. Yeah.
for sure. And so, but yeah, it was tough in the beginning. Like a lot of retailers were, you know, they weren't really looking to bring in hair care.
Right.
And now it's pretty amazing. We're the fastest growing hair care brand at Sephora.
Incredible.
And we're now global with Sephora, US, Canada, Southeast Asia, the Middle East, Australia, New Zealand, France. And it's just been insane. But I'm so thrilled because I just, you know, it's a very competitive industry. I'm not a stylist, I'm not a chemist, but at the end of the day, I think that us as consumers, especially with social media, we have so much power.
Yeah.
And we can create stuff that we believe in and
Totally.
love.
It's so funny because I've said for so long, like every time I go into a Dwayne Reed or a CVS or something like that, like I go to the hair care section and it literally looks like something out of 1976 where it's like it's like Murray's and then like all of these like olive oil products with like old school black models with like their, you know, blowouts. And I'm like, this is, first of all, I don't understand why black hair care is like sectioned to like this small little, you know, riser.
Totally.
And everything looks so outdated. And so it's incredible that not only diversity was at the core of your product, but different hair textures. And I think you're so right when saying that as consumers, we really do have power. And I think you obviously know, as being the fastest growing hair care company at Sephora, that your consumer has spoken.
Completely. Yeah, and you're so right. Like, I always felt that way too with hair care. It just felt like this trailing category that was still caught like back in the day. Like, you know, the segregation of hair care just always felt so weird and wrong to me.
Totally.
And just like different people have different skin, different people have different hair texture types. And it's just about creating products that help to solve problems for different hair needs. And it's not even about ethnicity.
Totally.
It's literally about texture, problem, solution. And that, you know, is something that was really important to me, especially because I have such diverse friends. And I always say that Briogeo is not about me, it's about everyone else. And if I only made it about one type of person, it would go against, you know, the methodology of it all.
Completely. So tell me a little bit about like your own hair journey. Like what has that been like for you? I know for me, you know, as a kid, I always kind of blew out my hair like whenever I was going out on the weekends or to dances or to bar mitzvahs or any of that stuff, like I always wanted to have a blowout. I never wanted to wear my hair natural. And then in college, shaved the right side of my head.
Did you?
And got a tattoo. And that was crazy. I had my head shaved for 2.5 years. And then when I was growing my hair out, that's when I started to really start to do keratin.
Okay.
Because I realized for the first time in my life that my hair grew out and not down.
Okay.
And that was like, oh my God. And so I was like doing keratin so that it would like not be like this whole like crazy afro situation on one side and the other. So it's been a long hair journey, and now I've been 6 years chemical free, have embraced my natural curl as I sit here with a blowout. But I worked last night, so I got a blowout. But like, I think also, you know, I try to put less heat on my hair now these days. But having the flexibility, now I realize I'm so fortunate to have the flexibility of wearing my hair natural and be able to wear my hair straight. Like,
for sure.
I'm like, how could I have been so harsh on myself and my hair and how huge of an impact my hair had on my own identity. So I would love to hear about your kind of hair journey.
Yeah, totally. And I think that like what you said is so interesting because, you know, sometimes like, you know, media can make you feel like you should be doing a certain way. And I think that just like the overall rise up and accepting one's natural beauty, especially through hair, I think has made a lot more people just comfortable and celebrating their own hair texture type.
Yeah.
I know for me, actually, when I was younger, I used to wear my hair curly a lot more often. But at the time, like there just weren't as many options for curly hair, like at all. Like even the stuff in the ethnic aisle at CVS, it was more so like to press out your hair.
Yes,
it wasn't stuff to enhance your curl. It was all stuff to help you keep your hair straight,
or to
like
color it,
hair grease, or like whatever. Exactly. So for me, like just thinking back to, you know, making my own concoctions, it was like there wasn't anything. So I had to, you know, whip different, you know, shea butters and avocado oils and all of that stuff to try to make my own, you know, homemade hair care.
Right.
And I think that, you know, part of that experience of really connecting with my hair type and learning about ingredients and porosity and what works and what doesn't, I think ultimately created, you know, this bond between me and hair care. And I think ultimately, despite all the research and what I was reading, that felt most connected to me, for sure.
Obviously, the email you got from Sephora changed your life.
Yes,
that was
it
like
changed my life.
So what was it like being, you know, a woman of color founder working in prestige mass beauty world?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I would say that for me, it was really important. Like if I wanted to tell the story of diversity, like Briogeo was not just about me. It's hard because oftentimes people, you know, would see me as a woman of color and they're like, oh, Briogeo must be like a line for women of color. And I think that that's where the storytelling and the creative really comes into play. And for me, like when I was starting my brand, I was so focused on formula. Like I don't have a creative or marketing background. So it was a challenge for me to understand, like, okay, if I don't want to get put into a bucket as being one thing, I need to figure out how to use creative and marketing to work in my favor.
Right.
So when we were doing our Sephora linears, our shelves, and our graphics for the first time, I had to make sure that that diversity was there, that we were speaking all texture types, that it wasn't just about curl, but it was also about volume and repair and moisture. And making sure too that at the end of the day, it was really about like the problem and how our products solve that, and not so much saying that like, hey, this is for this specific hair type.
Right.
So, you know, I think that can be just challenging sometimes, you know. I think people see you as a woman of color and they just assume things.
Yeah.
But I think, you know, really digging into the creative, but then also too, like asking my friends, like what speaks to you and what speaks to you and how do we merge that all together?
Right. It's funny, my mom always says like there's no, like we we have a lot to prove, but like we don't have a lot of room to mess up almost because like I feel like people are always kind of looking to bring us down, that it's like one of those things where like you have to, and it's funny that you said that when you were starting out, like you made yourself a business plan before anything else to kind of understand like if this is going to be a viable thing, because ultimately you sound like you're a very hard worker and you want like success.
Yeah.
What are like a few tips that you have for people who are looking to kind of create their passion into a business?
Passion has to be at the forefront of it because there are so many challenging things that try to throw you off course whenever you're trying to start something. And to be honest, like sometimes it's a numbers game, right? Like you can have 100 people try to start something, but maybe only 2 become successful. And it's because, you know, there's so many things along the way that really try to discourage you or steer you off. But if it's something that you truly connect with as your passion, and it's a part of you, it motivates you, that's where you get the inspiration to keep going.
Right.
Even when, you know, those bad things do happen. But, you know, for some people too, some people don't know what their passion is. And that's kind of tough too. And even, you know, after my mom passed, I was trying to figure out what I was passionate about.
Right.
And sometimes you do just have to kind of step back and really do some, you know, soul searching. Think about like, when were the times that you were most happy in your life?
Yeah.
Or, you know, what do you feel like your natural talent is? So for some people, it just comes naturally. They know it. But other people, you have to search for it, and that's okay too. I had to search for it. I had no idea.
It's funny that you say it like that because actually when my grandmother passed away, she actually suffered from anorexia for most of her life. And she passed away purely, like she had pneumonia, but it was that her body couldn't support her anymore. And when she passed away, I kind of devoted myself to living my happiest and healthiest version of myself because I know that was something that she was never able to do.
Yeah.
And so that was like the turning point for me. And it was something I felt super passionate about.
Yeah.
But it did take an aha moment.
Yep.
You know, and that was like, and it was a scary aha moment to have. But it was like a huge turning point in my life.
For sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. And sometimes that is what happens, you know. Sometimes it's personally with your health. Sometimes it's watching other people go through other things.
Yeah.
But then, you know, also too, I think when you do find your passion, and I think any of us who end up becoming successful or on the path to success, we also have to figure out, like, how are we going to give back in a meaningful way? Because I think anyone that finds success or is on the path to success owes it to pave the path forward for other people
Completely.
in a certain way. And that's just one piece of advice that I would, you know, recommend to people. So maybe you know what you're passionate about, but how can you take that passion or your skills and also help other people? Because that's how it all works. It's like this 360.
Totally.
Yeah.
Totally. Karma.
Yes.
Okay, so you have some Briogeo here.
I do.
Can you take us through some of your products, and can we like talk about like key ingredients and what you have out there, like best selling and what's up?
Yes.
Okay.
So one of the first products, this is our Scalp Revival Micro Exfoliating Shampoo. I'm going to open it up because it doesn't look like your typical shampoo. So it's like this
wow.
gray, creamy.
Oh, it smells amazing.
I know, it smells like Thin Mints.
Yeah.
Or like, those Girl Scout cookies. I love this shampoo. This is actually not a daily use shampoo. It's like a weekly treatment shampoo. And obviously it's gray, and that's because it has charcoal in it.
Yeah.
And actually I got inspired to actually create this collection because I was at brunch with an editor, and she was like, oh, I feel so embarrassed telling you this, but I have really bad dandruff, and I don't want to use Head and Shoulders or Neutrogena T-Gel, but there's nothing clean for like flaky scalp and things like that. She's like, why don't you create something? And I was like, actually, we should.
Yeah.
Because I think that a lot of people don't talk about it, but I think it's a really common issue that people have.
It's so funny. I just recently had some braids in for like a week and a half.
Yeah.
Took them out. Then I didn't have enough time to like do a proper like double shampoo, and I just felt like I still had so much residue and oil on my scalp.
Totally.
And then I like kind of just like whatever, my curls look cute, so then I just like put them up and just kept it moving for like 2 days.
Yeah.
And then I like was like, oh, maybe I should like switch up the hairstyle. Did a middle part of my hair, and I had full like dandruff, and I was like, oh my God, what do I even do?
Completely.
And I was like, and it's not like I suffer from dandruff, but it's something that, you know, whether it's excess oil buildup or it's, you know, a seasonal change or
completely.
You know,
sometimes it's even hormonal, like all of that.
And it must also be that your scalp does not get as much love as the rest of your body.
Totally.
So I can only imagine that like your scalp is like kind of freaking out sometimes and like is a scream for help.
For sure. And that's so funny that you said that, because I got inspired to use charcoal in this collection because charcoal obviously is a major detoxifying agent, and even a lot of the facial masks, they contain charcoal because it helps to really remove the deep-rooted impurities.
Yeah.
And if you were to think about the structure of your hair follicle, it dips below the skin and it houses the hair. And it looks very similar to a pore on your face. But the thing is, we're not like extracting our hair follicle. We're not, you know, exfoliating or doing deep treatments. And charcoal really allows the shampoo to help pull out and draw out those impurities deep within the hair follicle that can cause things like itchiness and irritation.
Right.
It also has tea tree oil, which I love tea tree oil, natural antimicrobials. So that's going to help kill the bad bacteria that causes the irritation. And then also, you can't really see them, but there are these little tiny micro exfoliators. They're actually plant derived, and it's very gentle. So we don't use like abrasive salt or sugar because that can actually cause little abrasions on the scalp. But this will help to really loosen up any dirt, oil buildup, dead skin cells, so that when you rinse it away, you're giving your scalp and your hair a really deep detox. So this is amazing. It has peppermint oil, spearmint oil, so it's really cooling on the scalp also.
This is amazing. I can't wait to use
It's
that.
so good.
Sick.
So we actually, it doesn't have it on here, but we just won an Allure Best of Beauty
You
award
did?
for this.
Oh my God, congratulations.
Thank you.
It's
This is a really big
huge.
deal.
Yeah.
Really huge. And then, so I'll go through like the regimen. So I'll do this once a week, and when I don't do this, I use the Don't Despair Repair Super Moisture Shampoo, which I don't have with me. But afterwards, I just use a hair mask as my conditioner every time I condition, especially because I do blow dry and I use heat tools, you have to replenish the moisture.
Yeah.
It's all about moisture balance. This one is also an Allure Award winner, which is like so exciting. Half of our collection is like
That's insane.
Allure.
That's amazing.
Thank you. So this is the Don't Despair Repair Deep Conditioning Mask. It's our best-selling product.
Smells amazing.
And it has tons of natural oils, vitamins, antioxidants, panthenol, algae extract, really great oils that help to restore the moisture balance to the hair. It is such an incredible treatment. Even after just using it one time, like you can feel the difference. Like rinsing it out, your hair feels like silk. You can like run your fingers through it.
Oh my God.
It is awesome. So when you are gonna wear your hair curly, I actually recommend the night before, just spray down your hair with a spray bottle and add some of this to the mid-length, just ear down to your hair. Put it up in a bun. So that's really gonna give you like a pre-deep treatment, and then you shampoo and then you mask again the next day.
Oh, wow.
So that when your curls are
But when you mask
drying,
the next day, you rinse it out.
you rinse it out.
Okay.
Exactly. But that moisture surge is what's gonna help your curls like pop. Just do it and and text me and like
I will,
you'll
totally.
see the difference like instantly.
Oh wow. Okay. Sick.
Cool. So then after this, after I get out of the shower, I like to do a leave-in scalp treatment, especially during the winter months. It gets so cold and the wind. And this is our leave-in treatment drop. So it has charcoal in it. I know a lot of people too with braids or extensions use this in the parts, especially if you're not washing your hair that often. It has the tea tree oil, all of that good stuff that's just gonna help to keep your scalp clean and itchy-free.
So when you put that in, are you sectioning your hair and then like putting a few drops in and then kind of
Exactly. Yep, totally.
Okay.
So then I do that.
My skin feels so soft where I just put the conditioner.
So nice, right?
Yeah.
And then what I do is I prime my hair with Rosarco Milk Leave-In Conditioning Spray.
What's Rosarco?
So Rosarco stands for rosehip, argan, and coconut oil.
Oh,
it's like a blend of really good oils for
Love
your
that.
hair. So it's moisturizing, it detangles, it helps to tame frizz, and it's just so good after you get out of the shower before you comb your hair. It has a lot of slip, so you can ease the comb through.
Sick. Okay.
And it's really nice and it's lightweight, so you can layer products on top of it. So after I use this and I detangle, I take a little bit of the Rosarco blow dry cream.
Okay.
And just like a quarter-sized amount, and I just section it through my hair, but this uses mushroom extract to heat protect up to 450 degrees. I never go that high. The highest I go on my heat tool is 340 actually.
Okay.
So I don't even go up to 375, which is what most people do.
Okay.
But this is so important to help protect the hair from heat damage.
Okay.
And then once my style is done, I take a little bit of the Rosarco oil. This oil is so nice, and also
Rosarco is such a good name.
But
I'm
you know
obsessed.
what? We're actually changing the name of the collection because no one knows what Rosarco means and they
Oh
don't
my
get
God.
it. So we're changing it to Farewell Frizz because it's actually really good for smoothing the hair. So
Okay,
I know, we're
fine.
retiring
Bye
Rosarco.
bye
I know.
It's good though.
I know it is.
Okay, so this is like a smoothing agent.
Exactly. But what's so different about it is that there are no silicones. Our entire line is silicone free. Silicones are just not good,
Not
especially
good.
for my hair.
Yeah.
Some people like them because they give you like this instant shine, but
It's all surface.
It's all surface.
This is like
Yeah.
this is like the clean 2018 version of Frizz Ease.
Yes, right. Exactly. Oh my God, do
Literally.
you remember that? Like
Yeah.
it was like John Frieda or
Yeah,
something.
John Frieda.
Yeah,
like
yeah.
I used to live by that, and like,
And it's just silicone.
and you could feel it on your skin too. Like it just sits right on top, and
Exactly.
like I was not into it.
So we actually recommend like anyone who's using Briogeo for the first time to detox with this shampoo, because if you have layers of silicone on your hair, you're not going to be able to absorb all the nutrients from like the hair mask or whatever it is. So
Right.
just give your hair a complete detox, get rid of the silicones, and then you're good to go.
Okay,
Yeah.
amazing.
So that's my regimen.
Throwing it out there, I think we should be doing another video of you teaching me how to blow out my hair, because before we started filming, Nancy was telling me that she can blow dry her hair in 12 minutes. Her whole head. That's like unheard of. I like have not blown out my own hair since I was like 19 years old. I swear to God. So I think you guys tell us if you think that that's a good idea. Leave it in the comments below.
Yes.
But I am so down. Well, thank you so much for coming and sitting and chatting with
Thanks
me.
for having me.
Yeah,
this is so
of
much
course.
fun.
Yay. Okay, guys, don't forget to check out Briogeo at Sephora or briogeo.com.
.com. Yep.
Amazing. I'm going to try it out. I'll let you know what I think, but I'm pretty much sold on the whole situation. Until next time, later.
Bye.